Good evening, everyone. Welcome back. I am Tanisha Tyagi, and I am delighted to welcome you all for session 2 of Board Prep Blueprint 2026 Part 1. In this session, we'll dive into the pulse of the past, social science, a subject that connects timelines, cultures, and communities across the globe. With CBSE's shift to competency based assessments, social science is now about thinking critically and applying concepts, not just memorizing facts. Guiding us through this journey is Ms. Swati Kulkarni, a seasoned educator with 30 plus years of experience in top Delhi schools, with expertise in national and international curricula, and a compassionate approach as a student counselor. She brings powerful insights and real world connections. So grab your pens. This session will open your mind and prepare you for CBSE 2026 board exams. But before, let's go through some quiz instructions. Register for each webinar to participate in the quizzes. Quizzes will be announced during the end of each session. Attempt them between August 8 from 10 a.m. and September 30th till 10 a.m. You can attempt quizzes in multiple subjects. So there will be multiple subjects. There will be 11 subjects. So you can attempt as per your choice. Each quiz will have 30 questions, and top 3 scorers in each quiz will receive Amazon vouchers worth rupees 1,500 for first place, 1,000 for second, and 500 rupees worth Amazon voucher for third place. And the winners will be announced during the November 6th and 7th sessions. Now let's move on to housekeeping rules. Participants will be muted throughout the entire session. Please ensure you have a pen and paper to note important information. The chat box will be enabled during the Q&A round and as required by the speaker. Stand a chance to win Amazon vouchers worth up to rupees 33,000 by participating in the quizzes. Now let's begin this exciting journey into the past, present, and future. Over to you, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. Ma'am, can I have the sharing rights, please?
Ma'am, you already have, you're the
Okay.
co-host. Yeah.
Okay. Just give me a minute. Are you able to see my view, my first slide?
Yes, ma'am. The topic, date, and time. It's visible.
Yeah. Yes. Welcome to today's webinar on Board Prep Blueprint 2026, competency-based question, building effective strategies and mindsets for the new CBSE pattern. Good evening, everyone. I'm Swati Kulkarni, and I'll be taking you through this 1-hour session and help you understand everything about competency-based questions and a lot more to set the right pace and to crack the board exams for 25-26. Now, there's a lot of anxiety and doubts in the minds of many students related to competency-based questions, especially after the CBSE sample paper that has been released last week. This webinar aims to provide clarity to students about competency-based questions, break down misconceptions, and boost students' confidence as they prepare for the board exams. So let's get started. What exactly do you think this word competency means? We often hear people, they say, he's very or she is very competent. So what exactly does that mean? What are we referring to? Please write your answers in the chat box. And I would request all the students and teachers who are attending this webinar to participate and interact actively to make the most of this session. Are there any chats here? Good evening.
Yes, ma'am. Competitive capacity, knowledge, able to understand easily, easy way to answer, to open our
Wow.
mind and analyze.
Okay, very good. Students, please do participate, because unless and until you express yourself, your doubts will not be cleared. So whosoever answered those questions are bang on. You're true. It's right. They are your skills, your abilities, your knowledge, you're trained, and something that you're able to do efficiently. Now, what is competency? On the basis of this, competency is the ability to apply your knowledge and skills effectively in real life situations. It goes beyond just knowing facts. It's about using what you know to solve problems, think critically, and communicate clearly. Let me elaborate this with an example of learning how to drive a car. You start by learning, or you have knowledge about the basics like the gears, brakes, steering. Then, through practice, you develop your driving skills by applying that knowledge. As you drive on different roads, you use your analytical abilities, adjust your speed according to the traffic, road conditions, and you become more efficient and confident driver over time. Finally, you become a pro, a competent driver. So, competency has three major components. Those are knowledge, skills, and abilities. Now, can you name some of the skills and abilities that you have used in real life situation? Please write in the chat box. What are the skills that you use generally in everyday life? Come on, children, write it in your chat box. Yeah, I'm waiting for the answers.
Teamwork, solving, drawing, critical thinking, problem solving,
Very good.
speech,
Wow. This
confidence,
lot is
listening.
already so aware. Very good. Yeah, they're right. See, what answers you have given are absolutely right. There are many examples from our day-to-day life where we use these competencies. Like, you think about critical thinking. Now, deciding what to wear based on the weather forecast, choosing what route you should take for traffic, problem solving abilities, figuring out how to fix a broken toy or an appliance in your house. These are the abilities. Communication skills. You have wonderful communication skills. These skills are very useful these days. You explain a recipe to your friend. You describe the story of a book or a movie. You have communicative skills. You have ability to analyze, checking reviews before buying a product online. So basically, these skills help us navigate everyday challenges and make informed decisions, and we become competent. Now, what are the competencies that we require for better understanding of this particular subject that we are talking about, social science? Okay, so these abilities, there are so many abilities, but if I want to point a few: critical thinking, analyzing evidences, understanding cause and effect, communicating clearly. While studying social science, we need to look closely at facts, understand how these are connected, and share our ideas clearly. Critical thinking help us evaluate information fairly and question assumptions. By doing this, we can understand complex social issues better and see how events are linked. When we share our thoughts clearly, we can have meaningful discussions and learn more about society. So these skills are very, very important for a social science student. So what exactly are these competency-based questions? Competency-based questions test how well you can apply what you have learned. They usually ask you to explain, analyze, or use examples to show your understanding. Competency-based questions evaluate students' understanding and practical application of concepts, and not just memorization. The National Education Policy 2020 has outlined the importance of competency-based assessments in classroom for developing specific skills, knowledge, and attitudes required for the career success. The focus is that you should be successful in whatever you do in your life. The National Curriculum Framework 2023 and National Education Policy 2020 has time and again emphasized the competency-based learning, which helps students to develop the skills they need to thrive in the 21st century world. So, what are their recommendations? They recommend focus on critical thinking, creativity, and real-world application. Move away from rote learning and encourage understanding and deeper learning. Now, why are competency-based questions become so important? Now, and the question arises here is that, were there no competency-based questions earlier? Yes, competency-based questions have been around before also, but their percentage has been increasing over the years. They are becoming more prominent as the world needs people with practical skills for the modern era. So the focus here is learning smart rather than learning hard. As you can see here on your screen, the weightage of competency-based questions in CBSE class 10 is 50%. So half of your paper will be based on competency-based questions. I will explain all those types of questions covered under that in a bit. Then there is the objective type questions, which weighs about 20% of your paper. 30% questions are short and long answer questions. So your board preparation should adopt a smarter strategy, keeping this division in mind. So what is the bottom line? Whatever we have discussed about this competency-based question, what exactly are they based on? What is their focus? Let's get that right. When we say competency-based questions, you have to keep these things in mind. Application, understanding, higher order thinking, realistic. To put it in simple words, CBSE is simply changing the way it tests students. Instead of just memorizing facts, the new approach focuses on practical and real life skills. Now, students will be asked questions that require them to think critically and apply what they have learned to solve real world problems. So, you have a freedom to use your own mind, give your own suggestions, but of course, those suggestions should be relevant to the subject matter. Now, let's take this discussion forward and understand how these traditional questions are different from the competency-based questions. In traditional questions, they are direct questions where you give a definition and simply state facts that you have read in your textbook and you have memorized. Competency-based questions, on the other hand, requires you to explain and demonstrate your understanding with examples. Let's take this example. Like here are two questions that I have, you can see on your screen. Traditional question is, what is Industrial Revolution? And the competency-based question, the similar question put in competency-based style, explain how the Industrial Revolution changed people's lives. Use examples from the text. So, how is the approach of these two questions different? In traditional one, you have to write definition of Industrial Revolution that you have memorized, and then write features of Industrial Revolution like mechanization, mass production, new energy resources, factories, industrialization. Basically, you will recall all the memorized factors. Now, when you talk about the second type of question, which is the competency-based question, that checks your understanding. You will be explaining the changes that occurred in the life of the people. You will explain with examples like how their daily life changed, how textile industries grew, Due to that, urbanization took place, how it brought changes in the family system, family structure. So you will go deep into it and analyze its impact, examine all the factors leading to the change in the society. So the focus, it's not a broad-based question, it is focused. So the answer should also be aligned with that, the question. Now let's see another example, some few more examples of competency-based, where we will be comparing competency-based question with the traditional questions. And you will get a clarity on these. So example 1, history, has been taken from history. It says, list the main causes of the French Revolution. In this question, you have to simply recall the various causes that you have read and memorized, like social factors, economic factors, political factors, and immediate causes. The same question, when asked in the competency-based question, has a different style. What is that? Analyze the role of economic hardship and social inequality in the outbreak of the French Revolution. Explain how these factors contributed to the discontent among the population and what were the consequences of this discontent. Now, in this question, you need to think deeply. Understand why the French Revolution happened due to a long process and conditions that prevailed in French society before the revolution. Know the context. Know the context of the French Revolution. Here, it's not generalized approach. Here, you are expected to understand France's social and economic situation before the revolution. Now you have to connect the dots. Show how different factors are related to each other. Explain clearly, go deep, share your ideas and arguments in a simple and effective language. The way, in your own words, no need of a rote memory. It's like telling a story. In short, the question requires you to think critically, understand the context, and communicate your thoughts clearly. Let's take another example. This example is from political science. The traditional question would have been, how is central government more powerful than the state government under Indian federal system? Now, this is a direct question where you have to simply go to the federal features and write down the power sharing arrangements according to the Indian Constitution and write down how central government has more financial power, legislative power, emergency power, administrative power. So the question is again very broad. You write anything and you get points. But here, it's a similar question. How can it be asked in competency-based question? How does the central government's power to impose emergency affect the powers of the state government in India? What are the potential consequences of this on democracy and the state autonomy? Now look, students, careful. This question requires in-depth understanding of emergency provision. Remember in the previous question, you had just mentioned one point of administrative, emergency, legislative, socio-economic and all that. But here you have to use your critical thinking and analysis of the center government's power. You have to think when and in what circumstances, according to the Constitution, central government can impose emergency. Understanding of the federal structure of India, why those provisions have been incorporated in our Constitution. You need to analyze how this can paralyze the powers of the state government. So you need to explain its impact on the state autonomy. While you're explaining all this, you have to use effective communication for expressing your ideas and arguments. Here, if you have understood the entire framework of emergency, you would be able to answer, no need of cramming. Anything, whatever you like whatever you say in a debate where you give arguments and support with examples. So when can you debate? When the thought process is clear, when your concepts are clear. Now, students often ask me, ma'am, how to identify whether a question is a competency-based question or a traditional question? Now, I'll give you a trick here, or I'll give you a key as to how you can identify competency-based questions. Look for these words in your questions. Terms like explain, describe, analyze, compare, use evidences, examples. These are the words when you see in the test, you would know that you have to go beyond the basic framework or the basic definition. These clues tell us what kind of answer to give, not just fact, but a clear explanation with examples. Let's do an activity here. Identify, now I'm going to give you a few questions. Identify the questions that you can see on your screen, whether they are traditional questions or competency-based questions. First thing. Secondly, look for clues or the keywords and understand the focus of the question. So get active in your chat box. Your first question is right here. Define the term. Now you have to write in the chat box whether this question is a traditional question or a competency-based question. Define the term monsoon and write its impact on 2 countries that experience a monsoon climate. It is, tell me, this question is from your geography. So write in your chat box whether this question is a traditional question or a competency-based question. Are we getting any answers in the chat box?
Yes, ma'am. For question 1, they are saying traditional questions. Many of the students are writing
Very good.
traditional.
Very good. That means you are getting it right. You are understanding it. Absolutely right. Whatever you are answering. Yes, yes.
Yes, ma'am. One is saying for question 2 and 4 are competency. One has mentioned.
No. Let us go one by one. Okay, let's go one by one. I've just
Okay.
asked you for first questions. So answer me for first questions. Okay, so that there is no ambiguity. We go stepwise. Okay. So your answers, all of you have answered correctly that this question is more traditional. So focusing on definition and basic knowledge. In the answer, you would define monsoon and briefly describe its impact on 2 countries. You can describe India and Bangladesh here in very, you have read it in your text and you can just give those examples here. Now, I want you to answer this one. Question number 2, analyze the impact of monsoon. The same question. Now, analyze the impact of monsoon rainfall on agriculture and water resources in India. Explain how farmers adapt to monsoon season. Highlight the benefits and challenges of monsoon rainfall for the country's economy and environment. Come on, now write in the chat box.
Ma'am, they are mentioning for question 2, competency-based questions, CBQ.
Absolutely correct. Yes, very good. So you have already started identifying what are competency-based questions. Kudos to you. Now this question, so when you see words like analyze, explain, highlight, these are the keywords. We have understood it is competency-based question, and we have got the clues from these words which we are seeing in the question. So what are these questions? How these questions, how's the approach between these 2 questions, the traditional and the competency-based question, different? They differ in depth of analysis. Competency-based questions require deeper analysis of the topic, while traditional questions are more broad-based. You need to apply critical thinking when you are answering competency-based question. You have to evaluate, you have to apply whatever knowledge you have, whereas in traditional question, the focus is on recalling facts. Communication is the key for competency-based questions. It requires effective communication of complex ideas. You have to write it in your own words. You can write it in your own words. The traditional questions, usually it was memory based. You just wrote memory, just you have mugged up and you have vomited it on the paper. Now let's take the third question, which is based on economics. What are self-help groups? Describe its working. I'm sure you won't take much time to answer whether it is a traditional question or a competency-based questions. Do we have answers in the chat box?
Yes, ma'am. Students are writing traditional for question
Very
3.
good. Very good. So we have a very intelligent lot here, I must say. Now, another question. Imagine yourself to be XYZ, a member of a women's self-help group. This question, yeah, you might have done money and credit, but you will be doing it in the first term. Analyze the ways through which your group provides loan to the members. Now, what type of question is this? Is it traditional or is it competency based? Yes?
Ma'am, students are writing competency for question 4.
Yeah. So this is a question. This is the question that checks your application skills. Here they are saying that you have to imagine yourself to be a woman member of a health self-help groups. You have to imagine, that means your application, your imagination, your analytical abilities. Okay. So you have to in traditional question type, you would have been asked to write the features of SHG, but in this question, you are expected to apply them, imagining yourself to be a member and explain how a loan would be provided. Again, in your own words and practical knowledge. Here, the focus is how it is beneficial for women. Now, next step is how to pick evidences from the text to answer competency-based questions. Ma'am, what are the examples that we can give? Sometimes we get confused that what is the question? What is it asking for? How do I solve that problem? So for solving that problem, I'm giving you a 4-step checklist. First step, read the question carefully. Identify what skill or idea you need to explain. Step 2, find supporting information in the text. Look for facts. Think about the quotations, examples, dates that help you answer that question. Third step, use the evidences to support your answer. When you are writing the answer, don't just write the plain answer. Give evidences why you are making a particular statement. Just don't copy paste. Explain the evidences that relates to the question. Not just putting any random examples would help. And the fourth one, organize your answers clearly. Now, this abbreviation called STAR. The STAR can actually make you a star in your exam. How? When you do a question, look for STAR. What is the STAR? Look for a situation. What is the scene? What scene has been set in that question? Look for a task. Explain what they have asked. What is the challenge in the question? Action. Take an action. Describe what you have to explain. And finally, R, result. Share the outcomes. Now, so this is the STAR strategy. This helps you to answer questions clearly and effectively. Utilize the STAR method, which is very useful for answering questions. Try it out. I'm telling you, it will really help. Now, you have understood how you have to go about the question. Now, for writing the answer also, you need a proper planning. For answering, you must plan how a question needs to be answered. For example, let's read this question. This is from your history section. The printing press, invented by Johannes Gutenberg, revolutionized society. Explain how the invention of printing press affected society. Use examples from the text. Now, you need to plan how you are going to answer this particular question. Now, let's set the outlines for the question. Always begin your answers with a statement. When a question is a statement-based question, you have to start the answer with a question. Explain how Gutenberg's printing press revolutionized society by making books cheaper and more widely available. This had a profound impact on, on the spread of knowledge and ideas. Explain what the printing press did. For example, more books, cheaper books. Give examples from the text. More people could now read ideas. When more people could read, the ideas spread to more people, the ideas spread faster. And then explain why this mattered, why this helped. Now, it helped, how it transformed the society. It started the Renaissance, that is the new age of awareness. So, if you plan it well, you can answer it effectively and you can get 5 out of 5 in such questions. Now, apart from these explanatory questions, there are many questions in your CBSE papers that you will see that, the variety of questions that you have to take care of. And I'm sure you have done these types of questions earlier also. I'm going to explain some of them quickly, citing examples from all your themes: history, political science, economics, and geography. These questions are case-based questions, real-life application, data-based questions, picture-based questions, assertion and reason questions, chronological ordering and sequencing, statement-type questions, comparing and contrasting. So it's not possible to cover all, but I'm sure I'll be able to do justice to some of them. Now let's take the case study analysis. Take a look at this particular example. Take a minute to read it quickly. I'm giving you time for that. Yeah, you keep reading. So you have done these case study questions earlier also in class 9. So case study questions often begin with a provided passage discussing a specific historical event, geographical issue, economic situation, or a political challenge. But remember, they are not comprehension passages that you get in literature. They are based on the core concepts and themes covered in various chapters. Hence, you should read the chapters and the sources carefully. Here also, the strategy is the same. To excel in case study analysis questions, you should focus on understanding the context, identify key information, and link it to the relevant concepts. Now, if you have read this this paragraph has been taken from the source material of history chapter, Nationalism in India, where they have talked about Gandhiji's thoughts on Satyagraha. The questions given here are based on the concept of Satyagraha, but you have to go beyond this paragraph, related to the other connected themes you have read, and then answer the questions. Write short, simple answers using your understanding of Satyagraha. For example, let us have a look at the first question. What does it say? What type of movement Gandhiji organized in South Africa? Now, come on, children. Can you answer that in your chat box? Have you got any answers? Are we getting any answers, please?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Satyagrah, I can see. Apartheid, I can see.
Brilliant.
Non-violence.
Yes.
Passive resistance.
Okay.
Mass
Okay.
agitation.
Very good. Very good. You are bang on. You're
Racial
brilliant.
discrimination. Yeah, these are the
Racial discrimination is the key word here. Yes. So Gandhiji had organized a movement against the racist regime in South Africa with a novel method of mass agitation, which he called as satyagraha. But you know what? Here in this paragraph, they have not mentioned anything about racial discrimination or apartheid. But you have to go beyond, just like you have done it just now. You have to go beyond the passage and relate it to the themes that you have studied in class and then answer. So there is no rote answer here, and you are applying your mind and relating themes to answer. Similar strategy you need to apply while answering the other two questions on your own and send your answers later. You can get these questions in your description box. So go through these two questions and you can answer them later on, not right now. Let's move on to the next one. This question that you can see on your screen, this question is based on real life application. Now take a minute and read this passage also. Come on. Simple, isn't it? Now these real life based questions, they connect classroom learning to real world situation, requiring you to apply your knowledge to practical problems. This helps students to understand the relevance of what they are learning and how it relates to the world around them. Like in this example, question in the example, you can relate to the concept studied in sectors of Indian economy, in economics, where you have read the concept of people working in informal and unorganized sectors. So, if you have understood the concept well, you have to just apply it and answer in your own words. That too, not more than 2 or 3 lines. Let's take question number 2 here. You can read it. What measures can be taken to improve Rahul's situation? Now, this case study is about Rahul. He works in an unorganized and unorganized sector. He's a daily wage worker. Here, the passage does not talk about any measures like they're asking us to, improve Rahul's situation. So these measures are not written in this paragraph. You have to relate to the theme you have read in the chapter, or you have discussed it in your classroom. You have to suggest measures like Minimum Wages Act, skill development, education, or any other relevant suggestion. So you have to be aware of the condition of workers in the unorganized section, apply your mind and relate. So isn't that very, very simple? Now, next type of question is assertion and reason question. And some of you may find it tricky. So let's make it easy for you. What exactly is this assertion? Assertion means a statement that claims that something is true, a fact, opinion, or an idea. And what is reason? Reason is an explanation or a justification for why the assertion is true. These questions present two statements, an assertion and a reason. Students need to determine if the statements are true and if the reason correctly explains the assertion. The given example is from Political Science chapter Power Sharing. Now here, based on the understanding of the Indian Constitution, you need to state whether both statements are true and if the reason is valid for the assertion. Isn't that super easy? If you know the concept well, you will be able to answer. Now, write the answer in the chat box, and I'll come back to you in the end. We'll discuss it. Now, let's take another question. Have a look at this question and take a minute to observe this picture. This picture is this is a picture-based question that you get in board exams. Picture-based questions are probably students' favorite. They are frequently included in social science exams using images, maps. By looking at these visuals, students can have a better understanding of historical events, geographical concepts, political satires, economic scenario, and social issues. For answering picture-based questions, it's important that you go through all the pictures in your textbook, read the notes given under the picture, and discuss it with your teachers and your classmates. How they are related to the concepts that you have read in those chapters. Understand what they are trying to convey, and you will easily be able to answer and score full marks. The cartoon given here shows how Indian politicians often treat different communities, especially based on caste, as their vote bank to get their votes. This means they try to win support from specific groups to get elected. The correct answer is the D option, which means that although if you read the question, you would know why D option is the correct option, because it says that although politicians try to influence caste, the voters have many other considerations while voting and not just their caste. It's a satire on the political system. So it's pretty simple. You just have to read the question, you have to go back to the book, you have to remember the picture and relate it. Now, they say practice makes a man perfect. Practice and revision are the key to success. They help build confidence, identify weakness, and improve performance. Regular practice makes you better prepared and more likely to achieve your goals. Through consistent practice and revision, you can develop the skills and knowledge needed to perform well and achieve your goals. Practice, what does practice do to us? Practice enhances confidence. Practice makes you feel more confident. Identification of weaknesses, when you practice time and again, it helps you to find out what are your weak areas, and you can take remedial measures to strengthen those areas. Time management, you develop time management skills. Practicing with the timer helps you answer questions quickly, and in the exam, you can manage your time better. It reduces exam stress, anxiety. Practice makes us feel less nervous on the exam day, which is very important. Improves accuracy and speed. Regular practice makes you faster because you've already written it, you've already analyzed it. So you are able to write better with more accuracy and faster. Now, we are always looking for sources from where we can get practical material, practice material. One such book I have come across is the Rapid Revision series, the cover of which you can see on my screen. This revision series is based on competency-based questions, specially meant for competency-based questions by S. Chand Publications, and it can be really, really helpful. Some of the important features that impressed me are that this is one book for all subjects. That means you don't have to buy a separate book for SST. It covers English, science, maths. So everything under one roof, making it easy to revise. These questions, the skill building questions, there are skill building questions. We are talking about skills time and again. The book has questions that help students develop important skills like critical thinking and problem solving. Mind maps. What are mind maps? Mind maps are very, very useful for quick revision. These the book uses mind maps to help students quickly revise, like whatever they have explained, they will just put it in small points, which are easy to remember. Real life questions, like we have done some examples. The book includes questions that relate to real life situations, making learning more practical and interesting. Clear answers. The book provides easy to understand answers that help students grasp complex concepts. Questions are categorized by difficulty. Now, this is the best thing. I really loved this concept where they have, marked, each question is marked as easy, medium, or difficult. So the students can practice accordingly. And you feel good when you have answered some difficult questions. You say, Eureka, I have been able to crack them. So that way it will boost your confidence. So it can be a very good reference book for you, where you can especially practice your your competency-based questions. Now, by now, you would have got all ideas under the roof that, and you would have eliminated all misconceptions about the competency-based questions. Now, what were the misconceptions that you had in your mind? Now let's understand. Let's break down each myth about competency-based question and come down to reality. The first myth. The first myth is that competency-based questions are just another type of memorization test, but the reality is competency-based questions test your ability to apply what you have learned to real life situations. Think critically and solve problems. It's not just about memorizing facts. Second myth is competency-based questions are easy compared to regular questions. No, reality. Actually, competency-based questions are easy and less challenging because if you know how to apply the concepts, if you know how to apply the learned concept in the real situation. This will make it more interesting, and you don't have to require to write any mugged up answers. And when you give relevant answers, your answer should be correct. Third myth is competency-based questions are restrictive and restrict creativity. No, on the other hand, the reality is that it encourages creativity, critical thinking. They allow you to approach problems in different ways and find innovative solutions. Next myth is that they're solely about academic knowledge. But the reality is, competency-based questions also test skills like problem solving, communication, and collaboration. Fifth, competency-based questions are only for high achieving students, but the reality is competency-based questions designed for all the students to demonstrate their skills and knowledge. They're not limited to high achieving students. Anyone can benefit from these questions. And the last one, the biggest myth is about competency-based question is that you lose a lot of marks. But the reality is that the CBSE marking scheme gives you marks if you have written any relevant point which might not be there in the text. So by understanding the reality behind these myths, you can better prepare for competency-based questions, develop your skills that are required to answer your questions. Now, time management. How much time do we have?
Yes, ma'am. Actually, we are running out
Okay,
of time. Yeah.
okay. So I before we wind up this session, uh, you know, S. Chan has some exciting quiz for you, and we are excited that there is a quiz schedule for you. This quiz will be available from August 8th onwards, and the result will be announced during the November sessions for all subjects. You all must attempt the quiz. Not only will it help you assess your understanding, but you will also have the chance to win Amazon vouchers as rewards for your performance. Isn't that wow? Now you can take a screenshot to attempt this quiz. and you can register. You can attempt the quiz only once, and the first response will be considered based on the time submission. Start attempting quizzes. Ma'am has already told you, all these rules and regulations, and you can attempt these quizzes. There are exciting prizes here. The first prize is for 3,000 rupees, 1,500 rupees. Top three winners of the quiz will get 3,000 rupees of vouchers, 1,500 for the first place, 1,000 for the second place, and 500 for the third place. So that is all. Thank you all for being one of the most amazing audience and participating actively. You can send your queries to us and we will get back to you. All the best for your first term exam. We will have another session in November. Do join for the latest updates and tips for your board exams. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Participants, if you have any questions, you can post your questions in the chat box.
Are there any questions?
Yes, ma'am. There's one, how to do map properly.
Okay, how to do map properly? See, map, whenever you are reading your text, whenever you are identifying any map location, you must keep a map ready and locate it. The second best clue is always try to find out what is the location and in which state it is located. Third is you must know all the states well. Okay, you must know the states well. So if you remember that, okay, this particular example is from this question, if you know that Dandi March, if you know it was Gujarat, then you will be able to locate it. It narrows down your study. So map questions, time, a stitch in time saves nine, they say. Okay, so whenever you study, do the map questions simultaneously. In fact, you can make small notes along with your chapter that these are the questions. Highlight, put it as highlighter that they can, this can be the map based questions. Any other question?
Yes, ma'am. How to score full marks in social science?
Brilliant. I have already told you so many strategies. See, NCRT, treat your NCRT like a Bible, Gita, Quran, whatever. Nothing. And when I say that, understand it. Competency-based question says read, apply, think, use it in your day-to-day life. So NCRT book is the key. Read it very, very carefully. Make your own notes and don't keep everything pending for the last minute. Rome was not made in a day. It takes time. Practice is the key. Time management is the key. So use all these strategies and you will surely get 100% marks. Gone are the days when children thought that in SST you would not get full marks. These days children are getting full marks. Even in class 12 history, sociology, children are getting full marks. So there is no reason why you can't get.
Ma'am, let's take one more question. Are 5 points enough for 5 marks question?
Look, children, this is this is not right in the sense, if I ask you, okay, let me give you an example. If I ask you to describe one particular person, if I describe a person that he's tall, he's fair, I'm explaining 5 points about that person and not giving the relevant points, not talking about his character, not talking about his traits, that answer cannot be considered, that description cannot be considered as a great description. Similarly, when you are writing the answer, 5.5, it's not 5 points. How well you are describing those 5 points, whether those 5 points are relevant to the topic or not, whether you are supporting it with enough examples like I have just explained you, whether you are giving your own thoughts, whether you are relating it to the real world. What is the question asking for? Are you doing justification to that? That will fetch you 5 marks. Just writing any 5 random points will not fetch you 5 marks, beta.
Okay, thank you so much, ma'am. It was a wonderful session. From real-world social science insights to building a strong foundation for CBSE Board 2026 exams. This session was full of value. A big thank you to Swati ma'am for a truly engaging session and for sharing her clarity, experience, and guidance with us. Thank you so much, ma'am, for this wonderful session. And as ma'am mentioned, you'll now get a chance to test your learning with quizzes across multiple subjects. Each quiz has 30 questions designed to help you apply what you have learned. But don't forget, these quizzes will go live on August 8th at 10 a.m. And the top 3 scorers in each quiz will win Amazon vouchers. And if you want to go over the concepts again at your own pace, you can grab your rapid revision copies. We have shared the link in the chat box. So up next, NMS Sir will take you through science and maths with strategies designed for the new CBSE pattern. So stay tuned. Next session will begin shortly.